Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. Today we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins in American numismatic history, the 1949 Lincoln penny. It's a coin that millions of people have seen, held, and probably spent without a second thought. But what if I told you that there are rumors of a rare version of this coin that could be worth as much as $1.8 million? That's right. A simple 1-cent coin from 1949, possibly sitting in a coin jar or hiding in your grandparents' drawer, could be worth more than a mansion, more than a Ferrari, more than most people earn in a decade. In this video, we're going to explore the full story of the 1949 Lincoln penny, its origins, its different varieties, the truth about its value, and what might make a specific version of this coin worth nearly $2 million. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about your spare change, this is a story you don't want to miss. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln cent has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909. It was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and was the first regular-issue coin in U.S. history to feature a real person. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, was an instant classic and remains iconic today. By 1949, America was just coming out of World War II. The country was rebuilding, soldiers were coming home, and the economy was shifting. During the war, the U.S. Mint had temporarily changed the composition of pennies in 1943 to save copper for the war effort. Those 1943 steel pennies are well known. But by 1944, the Mint returned to using a copper-based alloy. And in 1949, the Lincoln penny was once again being struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc. The 1949 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark. The ones from Denver carry a small d below the date. And the San Francisco coins have an S. Now here's the part that gets really interesting. Most 1949 pennies are common. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 217 million of them. Denver made over 153 million. And San Francisco minted over 64 million. So these coins are not rare in general. In circulated condition, most 1949 pennies are only worth a few cents to a few dollars. Even uncirculated examples can be found for under $50 unless they're in near-perfect condition. But every once in a while, a coin slips through the cracks. A mistake. A rare variety. A minting error that transforms an ordinary coin into a priceless artifact. So how does the 1949 penny get connected to a $1.8 million price tag? Let's talk about the mysterious and possibly legendary error coin. There are collectors and researchers who believe that a small number of 1949 pennies were struck using experimental or transitional planchets. These planchets may have come from different metals, such as a leftover silver or foreign alloy blank, or may have been struck under unusual conditions that caused the coin to look or weigh differently than the standard copper versions. One theory suggests that a 1949 penny was struck on a leftover planchet meant for a dime, possibly in silver. This kind of mint error is incredibly rare, but it has happened in other years. For example, a few Lincoln pennies from the 1940s have been discovered struck on dime or foreign coin planchets, instantly skyrocketing their value into the hundreds of thousands. Now imagine if a 1949 D or 1949 S penny was struck on a silver dime planchet and somehow survived. That coin, if discovered, authenticated, and graded in high condition, could be worth 7 figures. Some collectors claim that one such coin may have been quietly sold in a private deal for as much as $1.8 million. Whether that specific sale is fact or collector folklore, it highlights the potential that still exists in old coins we often overlook. So, what should you look for if you have a 1949 penny? Start by checking. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. Today, we're going to dive into the fascinating story of one of the most talked about coins in American history. It's the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like any other 1-cent coin that you might find in your change or sitting in a drawer. But believe it or not, some versions of this humble penny have been rumored to be worth as much as $1.6 million. You heard that right. $1.6 million for a penny. Sounds unbelievable, right? But in the world of rare coins, it's not only possible, it's happened before with similar coins. And there's a reason collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike are all paying close attention to this particular year and mint mark. So grab your coin jar, pull up a chair, and let's uncover the story behind the 1964 D penny. Its surprising value, its history, and why one version of this coin might just change someone's life. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln penny has been an essential part of American coinage since 1909. It was created to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth and was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was revolutionary for its time and remains iconic more than a century later. By 1964, the Lincoln cent had already been circulating for over 50 years. The version from that year was made from the traditional alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighed 3.11 grams, had a smooth edge, and featured the familiar image of Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Now here's where it gets interesting. In 1964, the United States was in the middle of a coin shortage. The demand for coins was so high that the U.S. Mint was operating at full speed. The Denver Mint alone produced over 3.7 billion pennies that year. That makes the 1964 D penny one of the most common in history. So if billions were made, how could one of them be worth more than $1 million? The answer is rarity, condition, and the possibility of a unique mint error. Even though most 1964 D pennies are common and only worth 1 cent, there are always exceptions. Some coins escape the minting process with extraordinary mistakes. These are known as mint errors, and depending on the type and rarity, they can be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. In the case of the 1964 D penny, there are persistent rumors in the numismatic world of an extremely rare error coin. Some believe a few were struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, possibly a silver coin, or even a foreign coin blank. Others speculate that transitional errors may have occurred as the mint prepared to change its metal compositions in later years. What adds to the mystery is that one of these alleged error coins was reportedly sold in a private transaction for $1.6 million. While this has not been confirmed by public auction records, the story has spread through collector communities, fueling interest and intense searches. So how do you know if you have one of these rare 1964 D pennies? Here are the key things to look for. First, check the mint mark. The D under the date indicates it was made at the Denver Mint. Then weigh the coin. A standard 1964 D penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If your coin is significantly heavier or lighter, it could have been struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. That alone would make it extremely rare. Next, inspect the color and texture of the coin. Most Lincoln pennies from this era have a deep copper tone. If your coin looks silvery, gray, or has an unusual color, it could be something special. Also, examine the coin for signs of doubling. This is known as a double die error. It happens when the design is impressed more than once at a slightly different angle, causing the letters and numbers to appear doubled. Some double die pennies from other years have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. And finally, consider the condition. A coin in brilliant uncirculated condition, especially one graded MS67 or higher by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC, can dramatically increase its value. Even without an error, a perfect condition 1964 D penny can sell for hundreds of dollars. But if you happen to find a 1964 D penny with an actual mint error or mystery metal composition, you could be looking at a coin worth far, far more. Now let's talk about what the average 1964 D penny is worth. In circulated condition, most of these coins are worth just face value, maybe 1 or 2 cents depending on copper prices. In uncirculated condition, a nice-looking 1964 D penny could sell for between $5 and $20. A high-grade specimen might bring in $50 to a few $100, depending on the market. But that's just for the common examples. If you're lucky enough to find a coin with a significant error, such as being struck on a dime planchet, made from silver, or featuring a bold double die, then you're in a completely different category. These are the coins that collectors fight over. These are the coins that end up in museums, private vaults, or high-end auctions. And yes, these are the coins that could be worth $1 million or more. So what should you do if you think you've found something special? First, don't clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Next, store it safely in a coin flip or protective case. Then, weigh it with a digital coin scale. If the weight is unusual, take detailed photos and reach out to a professional coin dealer or grading company. If the coin truly is an ultra-rare error, you'll want it authenticated and graded by a trusted service. Even if you don't find the $1 million coin, hunting for coins is more than just about the money. It's about discovering history in the palm of your hand. It's about appreciating the craft and detail that goes into every coin. And most of all, it's about the thrill of the unknown. Because the next coin you check might just be the one that changes your life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible history of American money. And let us know in the comments, what's the most interesting coin you've ever found? Remember, keep your eyes open and your mind curious. Because even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise. Until next time, happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like this version formatted for voiceover narration, video production notes, or segment timestamps. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times, maybe even spent without a second thought. The 1978 D. Lincoln penny. It might seem like just another 1-cent coin, but rumors and reports from deep inside the coin collecting world say that a rare version of this penny could be worth as much as $1.5 million. That's right. A coin you could find in your change jar, your pocket, or a roll of coins from the bank might just be worth a small fortune. And it all comes down to history, a few rare errors, and a dash of mystery. So sit tight, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to tell if your 1978 D penny could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American history for over a century. It was first minted in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of an allegorical figure like Lady Liberty. The designer, Victor David Brenner, created an iconic portrait of Lincoln that still appears on the penny today. Fast forward to the year 1978. The country was dealing with inflation, gas shortages, and changes in the economy. But the penny still had a place in every American's life. In 1978, the Denver Mint produced over 4 billion Lincoln pennies. These coins were struck with the familiar 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy that had been used for decades. Each one bears the small D mint mark below the date, showing it was made in Denver, Colorado. On the surface, the 1978 D. Lincoln penny seems pretty ordinary. Billions were made, most are still out there, and they're not hard to find. So why are some collectors convinced that a 1978 D penny could be worth $1.5 million? It all comes down to rarity and errors. Sometimes, a tiny mistake at the mint can create a coin that is unlike any other. Maybe a coin is struck on the wrong metal. Maybe a die is misaligned. Maybe the mint uses an old die by accident, or a coin is double struck. These kinds of errors are what collectors dream of. They are rare, they are valuable, and they can turn a common coin into a priceless treasure. There have been whispers for years about a 1978 D penny struck with a unique mint error or on a transitional planchet. While no public auction has confirmed a $1.5 million sale for this coin, many believe that a few examples were quietly traded in private sales due to their extreme rarity. Some believe these rare versions were struck using planchets meant for a foreign coin. Others say they may have been part of a secret mint test or transitional strike. Here's what to look for. First, check the date and mint mark. You want a clear 1978 with the D underneath. This means it came from the Denver Mint. Then check the coin's color and weight. A normal 1978 D penny should be a copper color and weigh about 3.11 grams. If your coin is lighter, heavier, or a different color entirely, you might be holding something rare. Use a digital scale to check the weight. If it's closer to 2.5 grams, it could be made of zinc, which would be very unusual for 1978. Zinc planchets weren't used until 1982. That would make your penny extremely rare. You should also look closely at the edges and the design. Look for doubling in the letters or numbers, or anything that looks unusual or misaligned. If you think you have something special, don't clean it. Don't try to fix it. Just store it safely and get it professionally examined. You can send it to a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate it, grade it, and let you know if your penny is a once-in-a-lifetime find. Now let's talk about value. Most 1978 D. Lincoln pennies are only worth 1 cent if they're worn and circulated. If you find one in brilliant uncirculated condition, especially in grades MS66 or MS67, it could be worth between $5 and $50. A perfect MS67 Plus with full red color might fetch a few $100s at auction. But the $1 million value comes from coins with rare mint errors or unknown varieties. If you find a 1978 D penny with a true minting mistake or struck on a wrong planchet, you are in very rare company. These are the coins that collectors and investors will pay big money for. Some coin errors have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. A one-of-a-kind error from a common year could absolutely command a price in the $1 million range in the right market. So how real is the claim about the $1.5 million 1978 D penny? Right now, it remains unconfirmed. No major auction house has publicly listed a sale at that amount, but rumors continue to swirl in private collector circles and numismatic forums. It's possible that an error coin from 1978 with unique characteristics was sold in a private deal that never made headlines. After all, many wealthy collectors buy and sell rare coins discreetly. Regardless of the rumors, there is no question that hidden treasures exist in ordinary-looking coins. People have found 1943 bronze pennies, 1955 double dies, and 1982 D small-date copper pennies that were worth tens of thousands to over $1 million. Each time, someone found that coin in circulation or in a collection where no one else thought to look. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. It's history, art, science, and luck all rolled into one. And it reminds us that the most valuable things can sometimes be hiding in plain sight. So before you spend that 1978 D penny, give it a second look. Weigh it, study it, compare it. You just might discover something extraordinary. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories, and leave a comment telling us the most valuable coin you've ever found. And remember, treasure doesn't always sparkle. Sometimes, it's copper brown and fits in your palm. Until next time, happy hunting. Let me know if you want a voiceover version, timestamp segments, or suggestions for on-screen visuals to match the narrative. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. Today we're talking about a penny that has sparked rumors, captured attention, and created massive buzz in the world of coin collectors. It's the 1975 D Lincoln penny. You've probably seen it, maybe even spent it. But what if I told you there's a version of this coin that some say is worth as much as $1.3 million? Sounds crazy, right? A 1-cent coin worth more than a Lamborghini or a downtown penthouse. But in the world of rare coins, anything is possible. So let's uncover the truth. What is the 1975 D Lincoln penny really worth? What makes it special? And could you be sitting on a hidden fortune without even knowing it? Let's start with some history. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was a revolutionary design for the time. Until then, no real person had ever appeared on a circulating American coin. Lincoln changed that forever. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner and has been a mainstay in American pockets, piggy banks, and coin jars ever since. Now fast forward to the 1970s. The Lincoln penny was still being struck with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It was solid, heavy, and had that distinctive ring when dropped on a table. But 1975 was a fairly routine year for the penny. Or so it seemed. Millions of 1975 pennies were produced, including those made at the Denver Mint, which were marked with a small d under the date. So the question is this: why are some people talking about a 1975 D penny being worth over $1 million? Let's break it down. The 1975 D Lincoln penny is generally a common coin. The Denver Mint struck well over 4 billion of them. Most are only worth face value. In circulated condition, even nice-looking ones are only worth a few cents to a few dollars depending on their condition. So how does a coin like that reach a value of $1.3 million? The answer lies in rarity, mint errors, and market demand. Over the years, collectors have uncovered pennies that are worth small fortunes because of minting mistakes or transitional anomalies. A coin that was struck on the wrong planchet, a double die, a missing mint mark, a coin struck using mismatched dies from a different year. These mistakes are incredibly rare but highly valuable. While there is no officially verified 1975 D Lincoln penny that has sold for $1.3 million at a public auction, there have been persistent rumors in collecting circles. Some speculate that a small batch of 1975 D pennies may have been struck using experimental dies or planchets. Others believe there could be transitional errors connected to the preparation for the bicentennial coins of 1976. This is where the mystery deepens. No major grading company has confirmed a $1 million 1975 D penny. But that doesn't mean something unusual isn't out there. There are coins from ordinary years that have fetched incredible prices simply because they had a rare, one-of-a-kind error. For example, a 1943 bronze penny sold for over $1 million. It looked like an ordinary penny, but it was struck in bronze when the mint was supposed to be using steel during wartime. That tiny mistake turned an everyday coin into a national treasure. So could a 1975 D penny be next? Let's talk about what to look for. First, check the date. It should clearly read 1975 and have a small d under the year, which stands for Denver Mint. Next, examine the coin's color and weight. If it feels lighter than usual or has an unusual sound when dropped, it could be struck on a different metal. A normal 1975 D penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If you have one that weighs significantly more or less, it might be something special. Use a digital coin scale for accuracy. Also, look closely at the design. Use a magnifying glass to examine the lettering, the date, Lincoln's profile, and the rim of the coin. You're looking for doubling, extra thickness, or anything that seems off. That if your coin appears uncirculated, free from scratches, and has an unusually bold or crisp appearance, it might be worth grading. And if you notice anything that doesn't look like a typical 1975 D penny, it's time to take the next step. Get the coin authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can verify whether the coin is a standard issue or if it contains a rare error. That's the only way to know for sure. Now let's talk value. A typical 1975 D penny in circulated condition is worth about 1 cent to 10 cents. In uncirculated condition, especially in mint state grades like MS 65 or higher, the value can climb to a few dollars. A perfect MS 67 coin with a red designation might sell for $50 to $100 or more. But if you have a true mint error or a previously undiscovered variety, the sky is the limit. Rare one-of-a-kind coins have sold for hundreds of thousands to over $1 million. These aren't just coins. They're historical artifacts. They're treasures. So is the 1975 D Lincoln penny worth $1.3 million. Right now, officially, no. But the possibility is not out of the question. All it takes is one discovery, one error coin, one piece of history that slipped through the cracks. And suddenly, that penny sitting in your drawer becomes a record-breaking find. That it's happened before. And it can happen again. So what should you do? Start by going through your old change. Look through coin rolls, jars, and pocket change. Focus on 1975 D pennies. Study them, weigh them, compare them. And most importantly, if you find something unusual, don't spend it. Protect it, preserve it, and get it checked. Coin collecting is part hobby, part history, and part treasure hunt. And every now and then, someone wins big. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin content, and let me know in the comments what the rarest coin in your collection is. And remember, that ordinary penny in your pocket might just be worth a fortune. Keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, maybe one day it'll be your story we're talking about. Let me know if you want this adapted for a voiceover, broken into sections with timestamps for video editing, or paired with visual suggestions for a full YouTube production. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. Today we're diving deep into the world of coins and uncovering the mystery and massive value behind one of the most fascinating pennies in U.S. history, the 1983 D Lincoln penny. That's right, a coin that's literally worth just 1 cent on its face, but one specific version of it has sold for over $1.3 million. Stick around, because I'll be telling you exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot it, and how it could still be hiding in your change jar right now. Let's get into it. First, a little background. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first issued to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it quickly became a staple in American pockets for decades. The penny was made of copper, but in 1982, everything changed because of rising copper prices. The U.S. Mint switched from solid copper pennies to a cheaper composition made mostly of zinc with just a thin copper coating. That's the modern penny we know today. Now, here's where things get interesting. In 1983, the Mint was still adjusting to the new process, and that led to some unexpected results. Most 1983 pennies, including those made at the Denver Mint, that's the D Mint mark you see, were made from the new copper-coated zinc planchets. But something unusual happened. A very small number of 1983 D. Lincoln pennies were somehow struck on leftover copper planchets from before. The switch, that's a huge mistake to the naked eye. It might look like any other penny, but under closer examination, it turns out to be an incredibly rare transitional error. What does that mean? It means the coin was struck using materials that were not supposed to be used anymore, making it a rare piece of minting history. In fact, only one confirmed example of a 1983 D. Lincoln penny struck on a copper planchet has been found and authenticated, and in 2013, that single coin sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.38 million. Yes, you heard that right, 1 cent. That turned into over $1 million. Collectors go absolutely wild over these kinds of errors because they're not only rare, but also incredibly difficult to replicate or fake. Since most coins from 1983 are zinc, the weight of the coin is what gives it away. A regular 1983 D penny weighs about 2.5 grams because of the zinc core, but the rare copper version weighs around 3.1 grams. The weight of the old-style copper pennies from before 1982, that tiny difference in weight is the key to unlocking a potential fortune. So, how can you tell if you have one of these million-dollar coins? It's actually pretty simple. First, look for the date. It has to be 1983, and it needs to have a small d under the date indicating it was minted in Denver. Then you'll want to weigh it on a digital scale that reads to at least 1 decimal place in grams. If it weighs around 3.1 grams, not 2.5, you might be holding a coin worth more than a luxury car, maybe even more than a house. But don't stop there. Even if your penny matches the weight, it has to be verified by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations will authenticate the coin and issue a certification that proves it's the real deal. Without that certification, it's just another penny. And let's be clear, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is about knowing what to look for and understanding the value of rare mistakes in coin production. The chances are small, but they're real. And just imagine being the person who finds $1 million penny in their old piggy bank or tucked away in a drawer. Now, beyond the famous 1983 D copper penny, there are other valuable Lincoln pennies too. Some from the 1950s or even wheat pennies from the early 1900s can be worth hundreds or thousands depending on condition and rarity. The key is knowledge. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby for history buffs, it's a treasure hunt for anyone curious enough to pay attention to what's in their pockets. So the next time you get change back from the store, don't just toss those pennies aside. Take a second to look at them, check the dates, check the mint marks, and if you're serious about it, get a scale and start weighing your pennies. You never know, you might be sitting on $1 million mistake. All right, that's it for today's video. If you found this information helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more stories about hidden treasures and amazing finds from the world of coins. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare coin, or if you're going to start checking your pennies a little more closely now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like a version tailored for a specific tone, like more dramatic or humorous, or if you want a shorter version for TikTok or Instagram Reels.